Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner, MetaZone, Rovi, and Inscribed, and today we bring you more Bitmap Takeover.
All right, another one of these, dude.
Yeah, so we've been pretty consistent with this. This is probably like our...
I think number 15 or 14, roughly.
Yeah, I was going to say like 100 or something, but...
Well, there were many weeks where we covered the progression of the Bitmap ecosystem without labeling like a brandable title to it.
Oh, that's a good point. We talked about it like daily.
Correct. No, if you go to our like Bitmap history playlist
Yes.
on our channel, it's somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I think there's over 40 or 50 videos in total. It's starting to become like a daunting task. Anytime anybody plops in the Discord, it's like, I'm new here.
What's a bitmap?
Yeah, I would like to know more. It's like, I link them that.
Playlist, like, enjoy.
Yeah, dude, you better buckle in. It's one hell of a ride. You're committed for like a week or two at least of like watch material, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the point.
It's a good watch. If you really want to see the full history of something, of the biggest NFT project in all of crypto, and you wanted to see the beginning to now,
that is definitely like the best.
That's a unique situation, dude.
I think so. So yeah, if you're trying to join the cult, that's the best place to start. You know, the
Orange
Bitmap
Square cult.
The Bitmap army, dude. We want you. So let's. Speaking of cult, how many cult members do we have today, dude? Oh. Compared to last week.
We breached an additional 200 members.
Okay, yeah. I think we're...
Kool-Aid drinkers and such.
Whatever we want to call ourselves at this point. We're fucking Bitmap-ers. Bitmap enjoyers.
Yeah.
What else? What else do they call us?
Advanced.
Just metaverse. Freakazoids. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
So there's 32.1 thousand now. So it's continual growth. I think whenever this thing blocked out, it was like 16,000.
No, it was less than that. I remember
less than that.
I remember it being less than the holder count of other deeds, other side.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And they had like 16,000.
So maybe it was like 13 and change or 14 and change.
No, it was like around 14 and change.
14 and change.
Yeah.
So it was more than a double X since then. So the community is expanding, ecosystem is growing as expected.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is quite the behemoth now. As far as like what the market is doing, pretty quiet as of right now, for many reasons. I mean, the market's kind of like tumbling in all respects. Like Bitcoin,
$38,000 Bitcoin, dude.
Yeah, the ETF was a no-show, completely like a snooze fest. So
yeah.
So your prediction came true. It's like we're gonna have probably a multi-month lull in the market.
You know what's crazy is that this follows the previous 3 cycles of Bitcoin, roughly, right? At least the previous 2 cycles.
The pre-halvening lull.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then post-halvening. It's whenever, I guess, things start to get interesting again.
Yeah.
Typically.
Because in the previous cycle, we were like, okay, the halvening's happening. It happens. It's like, oh, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And it's like 2 months of not caring, and then...
something like that. Yeah. So things are operating as predictable, as could have been predictable. You know,
yeah.
We always like to inject these weird little caveats of what ifs and such. Like, you know, what if we break all-time highs before the halvening? No. Doesn't look like that.
Wrong.
Yeah. Well, whatever. All right. So moving on.
All right. We
got BRC 420 happening.
BRC 420 Chain Racing Club, and essentially free mint ripped this morning, 42,000. The end result is FUD because they say it was botted. Only 300 people got it. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if it was actually botted. I think it was just like an indexer delay. I think actually, yeah, you see it right there. Holders, there's 1,700 right there. The very bottom.
1,700. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so I think people just started freaking out. It's like, what the fuck, mate? It was just the indexers were lagging behind and such. So
yeah,
but this is I believe this is the first asset to. Remember we talked about Bitmap War, the first like deployable game on bitmaps,
right?
So they're distributing their assets, dude.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. What do you think about that?
It's a blue wand. I'm interested to see how people can leverage a blue wand in the battle game.
Yeah. So I mean, BRC 420s continues to, I guess, represent, right, its utility. Like if you're trying to deploy something, some content layer on top of Bitmap, whether it has function or not, it's there. The standard is there for a reason. People are using it, and clearly it's working.
It's very efficient because it uses delegates, which was recently added to the Ord wallet, where you have like an underlying asset, and then all the other inscriptions point to it, and those other inscriptions make it seem like it's the same asset, but it's pointing to it.
So what do you think, dude? What's your maybe it's too early to say. Do you think like BRC 420s is like the definitive de facto like content standard for the metaverse?
Yeah, it seems so. It seems so because we've been taking a look at it and it looks expandable. Like we can start adding kind of like the unique stuff that we would need for Bitmap OS.
Just like additional like logic to it and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get the same impression. Like it's encompassing enough to where you can have enough flexibility for developers. Really for developers. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, also, guys, stay tuned till the end of this video. We're going to be talking about, why leveraging standards is very important.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move it along.
Bitmap Tech. We got Jeff here. BRC 420s like BRC 20. Everyone can be front run. Choose gas wisely. Number 2, if you like whitelist kind of thing, choose that. BRC 420 doesn't have a whitelist or lockup mechanism.
So it looks like this is just him kind of
like separate.
It's like, people complaining about bots and front running activity. It's like, dude, what did you expect? This is like everything else in Ordinals,
Yeah.
That's what this sounds like.
Yeah, there are always bots everywhere. If bots join the game, avoid this asset. Don't play with bots. Hate the player. Don't hate the game. Every transaction BRC 420 can be checked from chain data. We are happy to receive some evidence of fishy play, and we will disclose that to our community. And then finally, most assets of BRC 420 are slowly minted out. Pick them wisely.
Interesting.
Oh, so he's referencing blockchain racing here.
Yeah, he's addressing the FUD, right?
Yeah. Did you know that we're more than just a YouTube channel? We also built Inscribed, the first inscription platform built from the ground up for the metaverse on Bitcoin. Connect your Bitmap Ordinals and use our tools to bring your community into the virtual realm. Support us by joining the movement at mscribe.io. Like, comment, and subscribe for the latest alpha. Back to the video.
So, I mean, this is ultimately a bullish sign, I would say. Like, if there's this much interest in an asset, because this thing minted out in like minutes, apparently.
Yeah, but not every asset that's a BRC 420 is being minted out, right?
No.
So,
well, this one had a lot of hype behind it, I guess. And yeah, there's a community of bot developers, deployers out there. Whenever they know there's like a hot commodity hitting the market, like they want max value.
That's quite the gamble. Because what if they're wrong? Then they just wasted money.
Right, but it is part of the market activities and market happenings. You're going to have to kind of like get used to it, I guess, unless somebody can develop.
There's no way.
A preventable method. No way.
I mean, actually, there is a way using on-chain provenance.
There you go. We'll talk about that into the future for sure.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of opinions on that, right?
All right. Recursive verse again.
Fucking Jeff, dude. Always, always in the news, dude.
Yeah. We're excited to announce Bitcoin Layer 2 called Merlin Chain. Merlin will build upon the native assets, protocols, and products of Bitcoin Layer 1. Merlin will continue to innovate and unleash the potential to make Bitcoin fun again. I remember a time Bitcoin was boring, man.
Yeah, I also remember those times.
I did not understand those people.
Right. So how does this make Bitcoin fun?
It's Bitcoin Layer 2.
So what does that mean? It's just
it means that you can leverage a semblance of Bitcoin assets in a way where there's not a high fee. You're not dealing with.
So that's the non-fun part, right? Yeah, it's like whenever you're having fun on Bitcoin, it quickly becomes not fun for a lot of people because it's just too damn expensive.
That's right.
Too damn slow. A terrible, terrible, terrible user experience, right? It's like, dude, my fun has been rugged. It's totally unfun.
Right.
So we need to, we called this, we knew the layer 2 like race was going to be cooking up over the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been seeing a ton of entrants into this, Satoshi VM, with their like mass marketing campaign, just allocating a bunch of influencers, launching a token on Ethereum, claiming they're a Bitcoin Layer 2, things like this.
That's ludicrous.
Well, we knew this was coming, right? It's going to be one of the hottest like participation spaces for Bitcoin because the narrative is just so obvious.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Layer 2 needs some sort of presence on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're stuck in no fun zone.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Speaking about Fun Zone, we got Bitman. Yesterday, a total of 210,000 Bitman inscriptions were successfully inscribed. If you're wondering about Bitman and its potential, take a look. So we have these 210,000. It's basically the first epic of Bitcoin, I believe.
Correct.
And these were built based off of on-chain data.
Yeah, so the claiming process was very similar to Bitmap, right? So there's not really any like real direct tie to Bitmap here, other than it's like it's mimicking or mirroring of like digital matter theory.
Sure.
Like leveraging some non-arbitrary data component for their asset manifestation process. Like it's it's pretty much what Bitmaps did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So Bitmap is another example of DMT. Thus, Bitmap was created using data patterns from Bitcoin blocks.
Yeah.
Bitmap's characteristics. So you have an ID of 1. So this represents block 1. Birth dates, like timestamp, species, I think is version, size, weight, wealth. And there's docs here that sort of kind of break this down. Right?
Yeah.
Size, wealth is the total fee. Wisdom is the difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all this information generated your character.
Yeah, and this is deployed on BRC 720 standard. So there's again more, I guess, flexibility within the standard itself to where you can create derivative value products with it, like games.
Yeah.
Maybe like skins and stuff like that. Just different items that play along in this ecosystem, right?
Correct.
Just like NFTs do. Right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
So do you know who came up with BRC 720?
I do not. No.
Okay.
But we've talked about that a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Like when we first started like dabbling in ordinals and like looking around.
Yeah, there was like BRC 20, and then there was BRC 720.
There was like 2 or 3 BRC 720s, I feel like.
Oh, I remember that.
It was weird. There was confusion. It's like, which one's the real one? I think we made that video.
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
Will the real BRC 720 stand up? Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know which one this is. But they chose to go with one of them because I guess it made the most sense.
Right.
But yeah, we see you guys in the comments asking, is this like something to pay attention to?
Yeah. I mean,
Thoughts?
I don't see why not. I mean, it's leveraging on-chain data, and but I mean, this presents a problem, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes here.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Inscribed.space, testing the most unique community avatars. Avatars are set to join Bitmap land in 7 to 14 days with an in-game shop featuring all the awesome 3D BRC 420 avatars.
Very nice. So I got airdropped one of these because I was holding a founder pass. Shout out to, I believe it was the Arch for your lending me one. Actually, he gave me one because I missed the mint.
So okay.
Yeah.
So it was an quote-unquote airdrop.
Oh, well, you had to own the, what's it called? The founder pass in order to receive this avatar. You know what I mean?
So Arch sent it to you or what?
Yeah. He just he just gave me one, dude, because I missed the mint. He's just that cool of a lad.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, dude. So that's why I'm shouting him out here on the Block Runner.
What a nice guy, dude.
So with that, now I have my own avatar. I'll be able to join this virtual environment and actually partake.
So is each one unique, or is it like a collection of?
I think there's different models, but see, they're deploying like a user-generated aspect to it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
There's like a framework now to develop these avatars, so anybody can kind of like contribute their own model.
Yeah.
Right. So then over time, you can imagine. Remember Decentraland days, once like the wearables gates was opened.
Yeah, 100%.
Like anybody could create a wearable.
The content was way better once the community got in.
Yeah, because back in the early days of Decentraland, it was like a gated ecosystem. Like only like a few creators can make wearables.
Yeah.
And yeah, there wasn't much uniqueness. We saw a lot of people wearing the same shit.
Yeah.
But once it became an open creator ecosystem, it was like, wow, like an abundance of creativity and uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what you want to do. You want to open that up. So shout out to Inscribed.space. And they're the docs.
Yeah, here are the official docs for crafting BRC 423D avatars. Existing creators are encouraged to take a look as well. New HTML template. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely do that. I recommend it. There will be in-game like marketplaces for these digital objects.
Yeah.
So depending on how much traffic, and how much user engagement exists in that virtual environment, that's a real market to participate in,
Yeah. And shout out to Bito. This was an interesting read. It really takes our thesis about why the metaverse is going to be so important. And there's like macro conditions encouraging, pointing the direction to the metaverse. We got AI taking over, a lot of jobs are going to be lost due to artificial intelligence and automation.
Yeah.
And as a result of these technologies, going to be in abundance. And so there might not be a real need for human labor, so to speak.
Right.
And so then what is everybody going to be doing? Potentially spending more time in the digital space in the metaverse. Right?
Yeah, I guess that is like our umbrella thesis for what has kept us so engaged into this like very nascent industry, right? That gets a lot of fade, not a lot of interest yet. I mean, the big players are like, you know, they're lining up as far as like how they're going to, you know, position themselves in this future reality, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm talking like the big tech companies of the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
dude, we got Vision Pro coming.
Yeah.
They're focusing on virtual reality and mixed reality.
Yeah.
And then we saw a tweet from Disney where they're having like this like thing where you walk on it.
That's true.
It's like, why are they doing that? I thought they got out of the metaverse.
They did say that. They're like, yeah, we're done with this. This is fake news. We're going back to Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
The fucking.
And all of a sudden they come out with like a virtual walker.
Yeah, that is true. Why are they allocating like resources and R&D to like a technology infrastructure of like
It's so weird.
an omnidirectional fucking surface
Yeah.
that can be deployed in your own home because they see something that's coming, right? They see the big boat or the meteor that's about to crash.
Yeah. It's just, you need to be that immersed. You got to like walk like in your living room to in the virtual environment.
Don't you think that's gonna be better? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, there's gonna be a market for it. Yeah, if you want full immersion, why not?
Yeah, there is going to be a market for that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. We're gonna get off the couches for once, dude.
Really?
And, like onto the upright position. It's gonna be great for our bone structure.
Yeah.
Possibly.
All right, so let's talk about the I guess what the main topic of the day is talking about standards and why they're important. Right. So for example, we have Bitman. They had 210,000. It just stopped at 210,000. Why didn't it go all the way to 824,000 and change? Like why? Why did it stop? Could be like technical difficulties on like actually generating 800,000 unique assets. Bitmap was a little bit different just because we had a sort of like an interface where it kind of generated all these blocks for you, like not, in a way where it's like automated, right?
Yeah.
But leveraging the standards means that if there's an existing standard like BRC 420, like DMT, if you leverage those standards, you're piggybacking on like an infrastructure such as indexing.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you do that, you can build on top of that standard and you're leveraging that indexing infrastructure that exists.
Yeah.
Instead of like DMT is cool, but I'm going to do it my way. It's like, well, which is fine, but you'll have to stand up your own indexing and all that stuff. And if you go and try to hit a Benny's, like I have this new kind of like non-arbitrary way to do it. It's like, well, we're kind of already doing that. It's like, just use the standard, right? Because I'm not going to go and index your non-arbitrary method.
Yeah.
Just because, it's a lot of resources.
Well, isn't there an opportunity here then to like spin this into like a framework for future, I don't know, asset creators who want to kind of replicate this model? Like, since Bitman's the first like deployment, or is it too late? The fact that they deployed this asset in the absence of like a framework or standard, that doesn't mean they cannot like.
No, they can. Right? They can.
Yeah, they could build one now after the fact. It's like, this did really well, better than we were expecting. So
right.
You know what? More creators might want to do the same thing. Like,
right,
we're distributing block ownership again.
Yeah, but that's what we saw with Bitmap. It's like nobody else could create non-arbitrary assets.
Yeah.
Right. And so we developed DMT, which is a way to build non-arbitrary assets.
Yeah, specifically non-arbitrary fungible tokens for now.
For now, yeah.
Which is why they can't just like tap into that framework and do this, because the existing framework doesn't like support non-fungible asset creation.
I mean, it does and it doesn't. And it does in the sense that when you mint an NAT, right, you have block 1 and I have block 2, right? That, by definition, is an NFT.
Yeah.
Right? It just doesn't look like a Bitman. It doesn't look like a character. It doesn't look like a metaverse. It's just block 1 and block 2.
Yeah, but then within those blocks, you're going to have to be specifications like which of the fields, because it's like a multi-field assembly process, right? Not fungible tokens, you're pointing to like the existence of one data field.
Sure.
Right. So there is a separation between like how do you utilize this and aggregate the right information to generate the right asset.
Yeah.
So that's more logic, more functionality that needs to be incorporated.
Right. But if you claim a block, you're claiming that block and the data within it. So you can use that data to create a character, a unique character.
I know.
Right. But you don't need to specifically point to it in the sense that you would have to point to it as a fungible token, because a fungible token needs something to like create these fungibility.
Well, like within the JSON, like of it would have to be specified, right? In order for the indexers to know,
Sure, yeah.
like, you know, what's actually being generated and displayable, I guess, like on a marketplace interface and such.
Yeah.
The point is the framework doesn't actually exist for that, for Bitman to do what Bitman did.
Yeah.
Right. Even though NAT exists and stuff, that's a different utility case of DMT. This is a whole separate field.
Correct.
A whole separate category that needs support.
Yeah.
Right. The non-fungible side of digital matter theory.
Correct.
That is like the next frontier, I guess, that we're collectively going to work towards.
Yeah, and ultimately, like we were getting questions like, what can you do with these non-arbitrary tokens? Like, you can do anything, right? You can anything we've seen in crypto, you can do with non-arbitrary tokens. Mm-hmm. You can do PFP projects in a non-arbitrary way, where PFP projects typically pick 10K.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're picking an element, right? It could be 32K or it could be 4,000, right? It depends on which element that you pick as your supply for your PFP project.
Yeah.
Right. And so that like extension to DMT and NAT has to be added, right? We have to like enable that to make it easy, right? Yeah. And not only to make it easy, but also to have an indexer already set up so that when you create your own PFP project using non-arbitrary tokens, it's already indexed, right? You don't have to like stand up your AWS server and like do a bunch of coding to run an indexer.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. So that's the whole point of these standards. And so looking at kind of the update for here on Inscribed is using the bitmap theory standard. We have generated a way to kind of identify the parcels, right? So if you connect your wallet to Inscribed, and then if you have parcels, you'll see something that looks like this. And so these you can list and everything, but you brought up a good point. It's like this uses the old method of generating parcels.
Well, validating parcel ownership, right?
Correct.
Which is like a tap process.
Yeah, and the new way is doing a child inscription of a parcel from your bitmap.
Correct.
And that has on-chain provenance. And essentially, when you do a child inscription, you're essentially doing tapping. Like,
it's true.
It is built into the protocol of Ord Wallet, is tapping.
Yeah, but it's like an actual on-chain representation.
Correct.
An on-chain log of it, not like a... Not like an on-chain event that indexers can kind of look at to kind of derive. It's like, oh yeah, this is for sure. This guy owned it.
Yeah.
Therefore, I should honor the this new asset that's been generated.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So, parent-child's more efficient. It's more, I guess,
it's
like
more well supported, transparent.
Yeah.
It has a lifespan of as long as Bitcoin exists, right?
Yeah, and we're already seeing it be applied to like a lot of other like ecosystem projects beyond Bitmap. A lot of art collections and stuff.
RSIC was one.
Yeah, RSIC, on-chain monkeys.
On-chain monkeys, yeah.
It seems clear parent-child is going to be like a very prevalent standard.
So your question was like, why don't we just like transition to parent-child and like not do the existing parcelization?
Yeah,
right?
It seems to me like it would just add. Yeah, it's like sticking to a more primitive version and then like adding more to
convolution.
That. Yeah, there you go. That's the word. Yeah,
it's convolution.
But so
I mean, I've talked to Benny about this, and his position is, well, I mean, it's already built, so I can support both of them at the same time.
Okay.
The problem with supporting both of them is the convolution. Is like, hey, I have this parcel that doesn't have on-chain provenance, but it's a real parcel, and then have other parcels that are children.
Yeah,
and it's like. And
if for me, if I wanted ownership of whatever these parcels are, because it's just the bitmap is representative of a community that I really like.
Yeah,
I would want my parcel to have that on-chain provenance of
well, of course,
child. Yeah. So I would wait for that.
That's a way better option. But the problem is that the milk is spilt. Right, there are people who have bitmaps that are missing parcels in it. Right. And there are people that are holding parcels without their bitmap.
Yeah.
So then if you deprecate like the old version of parceling, what do you do about those people?
Yeah, I know. This seems like a cursed inscription type of scenario for Bitmap in a way. They just become cursed parcels. There's some sort of future indexer like consensus. It's like, here's the Jubilee for Bitmap.
Yeah.
At this point, every parcel, we all agree, parent-child is the way.
Well, here's the problem. It's like, okay, in this scenario, like today, right,
Mm-hmm.
we forget the old version, right? You have a bitmap missing parcels, right? But you have it. You can inscribe a child inscription from that bitmap of those missing parcels.
Mm.
And like technically, I mean, it followed the standard.
Yeah.
And now you have two that are supposed to be valid, right? And then it's like real issues.
Yeah.
So that's the problem of like deprecating one and then another problem of like supporting both.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely confusing right now in the current state. Like there's not a clear.
Yeah.
clear.
And this is a result of launching a bitmap existing before a lot of these primitives existed too.
Before a completed Ordinals protocol, basically.
Yeah, correct.
Ordinals had a year-long testnet phase, and bitmap came along like halfway through that testnet. So therefore, it didn't have the right infrastructure primitives to support it at the time. But now we do. Ordinals is past Jubilee. Now we know. There's a lot more indexer consensus again, so we know exactly how to architect moving forward, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you. Ultimately, parent-child is the way to go. Like for longer term, it's just like how do we reconcile like what we have, right?
Yeah, but for now, these parcels look pretty cool. Yeah, for now, this is gonna be like the interface on Inscribed, right?
That's correct. Yeah, so it's working right now. So go ahead, connect your wallet, and then I think you're able to list these if you own them.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they're tapped. Like these are not tapped. That's why you can't list them. But make sure you like tap them and then you can list them.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, that's it for us. We're going to be talking about parcels again here in the future just because it's going to be an important part of the Bitmap ecosystem and creating a community off of your Bitmap.
Correct.
So there's a lot more updates behind parceling than...
Yeah, land distribution is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
For a variety of reasons, whether it's, NAT block drop hunting or just a community galvanized to, contribute towards some sort of cohesive understanding of what a good metaverse experience is, what a good activation of a brand within the Bitmap verse looks like.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of reasons to do these land distribution events and for people to have ownership of, what's going on in these specific bitmaps that are like that committed.
Yeah, like who wouldn't want to own a piece of like Bitmap community's parcel?
Well, yeah, and that's currently what's happening right now. So that whole thesis is being tested by them just to see exactly what that community can kind of do collectively, right? By utilizing these tools. So we'll see.
All right, that's it for us. I appreciate you guys for watching. And if we miss anything in the Bitmap takeover, let us know in the comment section below. And make sure you send this video to other Bitmap enjoyers.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't like this video, send this video to an enemy.
Wow.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys.
Okay.
We'll catch you in the next video.
Peace.